Hello, and welcome to American Dreamland. I'm Max Chavez.
And I'm Misty Stone.
I don't know about more positive per se. It's definitely, we've talked about how this UFO disclosure stuff and the Fresno Nightcrawler was us like going back to comfort food. And after the anger that Slippy Toad and the crew gave me, I felt we needed to go to a really old, reliable standby. And I realized my promise after I made a promise to the audience. We went now like 20 episodes without directly addressing it. So we're back on our Catholic binge, baby.
I did want to start with a quote real quick, Max. I did.
Mm-hmm.
That
Please,
fits our
please.
theme. Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a human mind.
Profound
Mm.
words.
Yes, from the great Frank Herbert and Dune.
Yeah. I guess this is the best place to do this. Ironically, I okay. I don't know where to do this. I'll just drop this because I don't know fully my thoughts on it. He quotes Lord of the Rings in this in this proclamation. What is it? The
Uh,
ins- encyclical.
yeah, the
He
encyclical.
directly I'll just say this. He cites he cites a bunch of stuff.
He does.
Including a lot of like Catholic thinkers, some documents and stuff. But he quotes from Return of the Rings in the section "We can all do our part," which is great. And then apparently he also cites Hannah Arendt and the origins of totalitarianism,
Mm.
which I think shows our Pope is a coward because you had Eichmann in Jerusalem right there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I just love that.
Someone who went through a critical theory program got that joke. I don't know how I feel about the Pope being a White Sox fan. I don't know how I feel about the Pope being able to cite Tolkien. I especially don't know how I feel about him writing an academic paper that references Hannah Arendt. These are things I never associated with the Pope.
Well, to be fair to him, Tolkien was very Catholic.
Oh yeah, like I'm
So
not.
I mean, for him, he's another great Catholic scholar. So I get it.
I know everyone is a liberal, and I think I found like my most lib thing is I like just people who talk calmly and rationally and kind of understand the idea of something beyond themselves. Because I was so calmed knowing that Leo is behind the wheel because I honestly it almost became ASMR for me at like halfway through the speech of him like announcing this because it's just like, oh my god, there's a competent adult who's just expressing an opinion about an issue that is nuanced, that is able to
Mhm.
take account into the facts, uh, and is legitimately what he believes, which I realized I don't know if I have heard in the last like 15 years, at least in American politics, other than like Bernie and some of the squad members.
Yeah, no, it was pretty down to earth. I did love his mention of how we treat he said basically the gist was how we treat the weak is reflective of our morality, but really he highlighted migrants,
Yeah. Woke,
which
woke, woke.
well, yeah, which was really cool to see. He said it was gravely immoral to subjugate a nation, talked about how he's noticing that, you know, as the church needs to partake in society and politics, and he's noticing that the not only does the state have power, but he's seen power transfer into the hands of the few, which I think we all know, since he's talking about AI, that he's talking about tech billionaires. He talks about transhumanism,
Dope.
which I found interesting. He talked about, because I read some of it, he talked about transhumanism and
I
discussed
swear to God,
how
I've
that should not be our goal.
okay. I've read enough of like the vague old person understanding of like transhumanism and saying like it's against God for me to not really freak out that that was mentioned in the encyclic. I am going to lose my shit if I now have to think about the Pope having played one of the Deus Ex games.
Well, I thought it read to me that he's well aware of, I think enough people, for our listeners, if you don't know, that many of these tech billionaires do have these fucking weirdo beliefs and ideas of trying to, a lot of them want to become immortal,
Yep.
and they do not give a fuck about you or us. Like, they don't give a fuck about any of us. They hate us. They don't give a shit about you. And they think through this technology they can become immortal.
Yeah.
Like some weird fucking, I don't know, weird sci-fi bullshit. And that's part of what transhumanism for them is. And to know that the Pope is aware that some of these people's goals is to reach immortality at the expense of humanity is hilarious to me.
I I think I would say of all the like major Illuminati positions, it's the closest to just an average guy becomes the thing.
Yeah.
I guess because the church has its own money, they don't have to make all these weird deals with like psycho billionaires or tech people. So when they
Yeah.
see that stuff, it's just they also don't have to like have a massive black budget like a NATO country or anything.
True. They don't. And I think it is refreshing because it's not that they also aren't saying you can't use AI, or he's not saying we aren't bootlegging and jihading it just yet.
Which
He
I gotta
it,
say, I was promised. I've been promised a range communist pope for like 13 years at this point. Come on.
you know what? I would love a Bulgarian jihad pope. Come on. No thinking machines. Destroy the thinking. Let's start. I really don't think, you know what, Max? I am sad to say I don't think we'll live long enough to see the Bulgarian jihad. I think we'll die before then.
I don't know. The timeline of Dune is very weird.
The timeline is very weird because what? Wait, by the time we're in Dune, humanity's already been around for like 10,000 years, hasn't it? Or am I making that up?
So I believe the first Dune is like 10,000 something after Guild, which I think means 10,000 years after the Spacing Guild. So it's like maybe 10,000 years after the Butlerian Jihad? Or did they just like do kind of like what they did with the like Julian Gregorian calendar where they're just like, all right, we're just gonna pick one and like merge them together type of thing, or it's just like, all right, it's the year 7,000. We're changing the name of the calendar and just starting here. I don't know.
And and sorry, y'all, I'm not. Nothing that the Suns wrote is canon to me. So do not add into our comments about anything beyond Chapter House. I do not care.
Yeah, it's
Either way, we're a good ways in to humanity by the
yeah,
time we get to Dune. Um,
yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't know how bad AI has to get before we start a Bulgarian jihad, and we start. But this, I mean, we could argue maybe this is the beginning of the Orange Catholic Bible.
I think it could be, this will be like a text in the Orange Catholic Bible. I also think it's
Mhm,
difficult
mhm,
because, you know, the declaration in Dune was about thinking machines. We have to get rid of thinking machines. And I think the premise was that they were helpful to us and we became too reliant on it, kind of like
mhm.
Wally people. But I think what people forget about Wally and, you know, pre pre pre-Butlerian jihad and stuff is the machines actually helped us. It wasn't just something that everyone was annoyed by, ruined services, and was gonna like torch the environment. I'm pretty sure it's not the start of the Butlerian jihad because I think if there's ever AI is finally in charge, we're gonna either nuke it or ourselves before it becomes anything close to self-aware.
True, true. Yeah, these thinking machines would have to become self-aware because I think in Dune it was that the thinking machines were in control and humans overthrew the thinking machines.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. My entire notes and commentary on his thing is basically, God damn, this is normal. Okay, so don't be a dick, touch some grass. Which, honestly, great. Like, just totally be like, hey, here's some unique problems we have. Let's not be dicks to people. And, you know, guys, do you know how much like mind control and state sanctioned violence you can do under neoliberalism? Like, let's just go back to that, man. We don't need all this techno feudalism dystopia shit.
Right. Especially like yeah, we're not even getting thinking machines. Y'all, we're not. It's like at best it can do little tasks for you. And we're going to destroy our environment even faster than we already are for those little tasks, which also Pope Leo mentions.
I think there are some interesting things here. I It was a little hard for me to get into it because I'm not joking when I just like felt so giddy and happy to just have a like figure of world prominence and important just be a normal person and like actually be willing to have a conversation about something that's happening um in both moral and like empathetic and aware terms of it's like, hey, we all know technology's kind of like whatever, here are the problems if you believe in these core tenets of like Catholicism. Um
Yeah.
and, and it was very intentionally like what was the other encyclopedia? First of all, also I just love the like little fancy flares. Like the encyclic is called Magnificent Humanity, which I'm happy we have something like verbose and grandiose that's not like Arnold Palmer has a huge dick, look at all my gold. Like, yeah, it's
Mhm.
cheesy, but it's like it speaks to something. And then apparently it was a nod to the most famous encyclic that the previous Leo the 13th wrote, which was basically about the role of industrial capitalism and the role of the church and faith in this new industrialized world, which I think is
Right.
like, I also put in my notes, it's like, it's also weird, I think, is like, he's really the only world leader who understands that he is like representative of an institution right now because, you know, the left wildly disorganized. There's not like anything like a global institutional left really. So, you
Mhm.
know, you do have people who can speak to that, but they have to start on the layers of the institution. And then like every government is just like insane like bootlicking of some kind or another, of just like no real care or acknowledgments of what's going on. Um, like I'm sorry, like who the fuck thought it was a good idea? Like, let alone the million other things that went wrong with it. But who thought, the best way to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America? A state fair. Like, fuck off. Like, the thing where I always wanted to see this person, but they were famous and I was broke. But now that I'm semi middle class and have a free Saturday afternoon, I guess I'll take my kids to the roller coaster and listen to it passively. Like, who the fuck enjoys the state fair? Um, that's not like a farming person doing farming business. Like,
Max, come on, where else am I gonna get my deep fried stick of butter? That is quintessential American. Where else am I
yeah.
gonna get my elephant ear? My lemonade. What else do we got?
I'm literally drinking lemonade right now. You cannot say
Okay, but like they get
lemonade is a
those,
fair thing.
Okay, but it's the special lemonade you get at the fair. You know what I'm talking about? They have the thing, they squeeze the lemons, then you get to choose your lemonade flavor. You can get strawberry, blackberry. Come on. You can get like deep fried Oreos. You can get, I don't know, what are the new
I
fair foods? Deep fried
I
pickle on a stick.
I have a serious question for you. Can you eat a deep fried Oreo?
Well, Oreos are vegan, and
Right.
so depending on what oil it's fried in and the batter makeup, yes, potentially yes. Oh my God, this weekend in Seattle, shout out to Seattle for having vegan blue cheese. I had had such a craving for blue cheese, and it tasted just like blue cheese. So thank you, Seattle. I love you. Thank you.
Thumbs up, Seattle. Um yeah, so it's going back to the Pope and AI is it was literally just like, okay, like let's actually like try and understand the implications and the issues of this like thing that's happening. And given our global role as a kind of like moral arbiter of some kind, at least as reference for the Western world, let me just remind people of the morality we ostensibly are trying to shoot for in a westernized, liberal, democratized world that we
Hmm.
believe is hegemonic still. Like, and yeah, I think it is like it's taking it into account. It is acknowledged. Like, I think this is like the best, criticism that can like acknowledge that AI is a thing instead of being like radically against it, which you should be and is morally right.
We do get into some Catholic stuff where, it like love's between a man and a woman and life begins at conception, so whatever. But then he says women do deserve equal rights, which in my brain, I guess, feminist brain was like, well, we can't have equal rights if I can't get an abortion, Pope Leo.
I,
Whatever.
I'll give this. He's morally wrong on abortion, but at least it is consistent in the way of like, yeah, killing people's wrong.
True. At least they're consistent. At least he's being consistent. Give him that. Yeah, he does go a lot into too about how AI shouldn't be being used to justify war, normalizing war, how slavery is being supported uh, by mining the technology needed for this. So he is
It's
consistent there. The
it
Catholic Church is taking a pretty powerful anti-war stance on many different arguments.
I will also say is like, and I guess this is gonna be like a good thing of just I joked before we were recording is like the only real way I got mad about researching this episode was in realizing that I can never become a Catholic, because like, I read and saw a lot of bad stuff and bad takes for this, but it was, like, in the thing of, like, "Don't worry, folks, El Papa is in control." Um, just the Pope is aware that there are problems, and he knows how to address them in a way that doesn't involve us having to really challenge the fundamentals of the status quo. And I forgot how much that was just reassuring. And the reason I say I regret that I can never become Catholic is because of people like fucking JD Vance, Mr. John David Couchfucker come lately, um, who is just like, yeah, I'm becoming a Catholic at 39 because being against abortion is based. And then is just like, oh, um, I actually disagree with all of the fundamentals of the actual ethos of the Catholic Church. Like I was just reading about this like hyper conservative um like he got excommunicated because he called Francis woke and gay. In his Wikipedia page, it's like since October of 2003 or 2023, he has been a staunch advocate for the safety of Palestinian children. It's just like, wow. It is just like how much like this new wave of like uniquely American conservatism is brain rotting. He was talking about how young people were abusing the computer, and it's like AI shouldn't be used as like your friend or a girlfriend experience, or worst of all, your therapist. And
Mm.
the tone and everything struck me in such a way of it's just like, oh my God, this is an older right wing man who thinks therapy is okay. And also, it's much worse to be using a chatbot for therapy than for jerking off. Which, yeah, legit, it is.
It is, and I think regardless, like I think some of the AI fanboys were like, the Pope hates AI, but he's taking a pretty level stance
Yeah.
at it. He's just saying like we just need to have safeguards because it's scary out there, y'all. I think I've mentioned briefly, I just got back from a work conference, and I've mentioned briefly that I work in the healthcare field. And at this conference, of course, in many of our conferences, AI has been all the rage to talk about. And somebody was presenting on their AI algorithm, their AI model they made for patients to and mind you, this person is not a clinician. I don't think this person has any like medical or dental, like they're just not a clinician, right? They're not a nurse, they're not a dentist, they're not a, I don't know, a therapist, anybody. They made a model. They were like, you know what, guys, I made this model so that a person that is sick can talk to this model and get a diagnosis. They don't have to talk to a doctor. They don't have to go to the dentist. They can just talk to the model. You can send in photos and it'll talk with you and it'll talk through your symptoms. And it's great. Guess
Okay.
who wasn't happy in the audience?
Medical professionals.
Medical, dental, nurses. I mean, usually anybody that's like anybody that has anything to do with healthcare statistics. So, a dentist or not dentist, I think a doctor, a
Yeah.
medical doctor walks up, starts going off, of course, and is like, "How do you know patient data is safe?" And the guy gets mad and is like, "Well, it's not my problem if there's data safe or not." And the doctor's like, well, what if their data leaks? And he's like, well, that's not my problem. They're the ones that asked the question. The patient has to take full responsibility for asking the question. to the AI model doctor I created. And then they just proceed to argue with each other.
When did society become like that episode of Silicon Valley where their startup realizes that they forgot to enforce this like semi-obscure law that apparently is like hugely important for child safety, and then they like secretly sell the startup to like Google or whatever, and then they slowly find out that um oh man, this thing we thought was good actually exclusively attracts pedophiles and is going to cost us hundreds of millions of dollars in legal fees because of a mistake that we made. um
Mhm.
like so much of society is like, I think what it is it is just people. This is what I mean earlier when it's like people do not understand there are institutions. It is just how do I help myself, or how do I be a
Right.
good piggy towards the person on top of me? And I think like Trump really like accelerated that, because since you don't really
Mhm.
have these respects for institutions or survivability, also admittedly the Catholic Church was able to get its like, hey, listen, we're a bunch of just insane psychos who are going to say incredibly like fucked up things. They had the benefit of doing that as an institution during a period we colloquially call the Dark Ages. So, um, any port in a storm, kind of, versus us, we have an institution like the Catholic Church, which is like, here's how you have 2,000 years of history. I'm very interested. Look, and it's like, I I just really love Huff and Paint, and boy, because I found Jesus, I think I can sell it to you too. And it's just these like and I'll say this is every kind of Catholic response I heard was, it was just really boring people having a conversation. um and I hate to say how novel and interesting it was, but it was just people like, everyone acknowledging like, I'm slightly biased for AI. Here's what I think about what he said. I'm slightly biased against AI. Here's what I think he said. Like totally normal conversations, like where people are just like using what the encyclic was for to like get people to think about these issues. Whereas it is also just how uniquely cooked America is, because I was just looking at like world leader response is like the president of Colombia posted it on Twitter and said, here are my concerns that I feel the Pope didn't address. The president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, posted it on Twitter and said, regardless of your faith, I feel these are important questions our community should be asking and talking about. Share amongst your friends. And then JD Vance was like, I haven't read it, but from what I've seen, impressive stuff. But we should also still use this to kill children.
Gotta love it.
Well, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like an actual Catholic would be, and don't give me this bullshit of like he's just a nihilist who doesn't believe in God. I've met plenty of Catholics who don't believe in God and still go to church,
Mhm.
because guilt or whatever, which I feel a lot of us can understand, who got into the podcasting biz. Um, but they would just be like, I haven't read it yet, but I'll be interested to do it. Whereas he has to be like, I have to do the thing of supporting the church, but also my own insane Peter Thiel point, who a man who like claims he's Catholic and then um is just like, but also the Antichrist is a little Swedish girl who is against global warming. Um it's just like, okay, dude. I I'm pretty sure the Catholic Church has very nuanced engagement with the Book of Revelation, but whatever.
I just think in a world where AI is taking over and fast. I think he has a very, as Max is saying, a very reasonable take, a very understandable take. And that is every day in my job where AI is constantly being shoved down my throat, and then constantly, because I am one of the people that goes in to talk to clinicians to try to make their lives easier or to try to advocate on behalf of patients to for them to have better health outcomes. It AI is a new and scary frontier for everyone, because you have the people behind it and people who are creating models who do not give a fuck. The tech leaders, as the Pope said, do not give a shit about you. And then you have randos who are just crafting these models, or you have JD Vance who are like, I'm just still gonna bomb the fuck out of kids. I don't really care. I'm just still gonna do my I'm still gonna support environmental racism in our own country by building data centers wherever the fuck we want to and destroying people's water supplies in mostly black and brown neighborhoods because we don't give a fuck.
I respect the church at least enough to be like, these converts are ruining you. Like, say what you will about the church, we should judge its evil on the evil that it has done and its response to it. Not these like Johnny come latelys who are just like, yeah, no, this is the base thing to be a part of because it's old and doesn't like women. And it's like, I think it has a very traditional gendered view of women, but I think that's an alternative way it views of empowering them. I think the Catholic Church believes in women having much more autonomy than you think they should, buddy.
They do. They do. At least I will give the Catholics, out of many of the Christian, flavors, you won't catch me ever believing in a religion that thinks a man created anything. But I will give them some credit for worshiping Mary and worshiping a woman. So I'll give them something there. I'll throw them a
Yeah,
bone.
I
So they
I
do have a lot of reverence for the Mother Mary. And you know what? I have to give them credit where credit's due.
yeah, it's just so bad. Like, so the tech, like the every tech bro was like, oh, the Pope is gay and woke and doesn't understand things. That was like one end of the spectrum, and the other one was like, that's right, there are some issues that need us to rethink society, like maybe how patents should be treated like property and our property laws, i.e., viciously enforced by the state. Like just insane. Actual Catholics talking about it was just like, oh, whatever, like reasonable. But the rest of like the religious right, just like I went down a rabbit hole that basically was just watching a lot of videos that made me realize, dear God, does the American religious right love defending pedophilia? Because I apparently there is a group of people, and Glenn Beck is one of them, who think that uh, the deep state took out Pope Benedict. And it was all like mysterious and like, oh, why didn't anything do that? Uh, and I'm not an expert on this, but those who may not remember, Benedict was the pope before Francis, who famously was the first pope in like hundreds of years to step down, gain the title of Pope Emeritus, um, and all of that because he felt he was too old and infirmed to carry out the duties of the pope. And he's like, yeah, the deep state got him, and yeah, there was criticisms. The specific criticism was basically before he became pope, when he was a cardinal, Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger. He was in charge of the office that was supposed to investigate if there were accusations of child sexual abuse in the church. Um, and basically, when he was told to look into it and noted that a bunch of local parishes were like moving uh, pedophile priest around was like, this isn't our problem. Um, so it's kind of weird how when that was like realizing he had personal, maybe in certain countries, legal liabilities because of what he had done, uh, perhaps because further investigation would have shown that he did it in such a sloppy way that it would be very easy for, say, the Pope, the very beloved John Paul II, would have had to actively approve of all of that to make sure that it didn't get released or to
Mhm.
explain why he didn't get fired.
Yeah.
But no, it's a conspiracy. It's woke and gay. My favorite though has to be I saw a man who, again, one of the things of making me want to be one of these like suit and tie John Kerry delegate in 2004 type guys was, I don't, his name is like Strixenhammer 666, and he basically, if you know who Asmongold is, add
Uh,
like the garbage filter. Good. So he was commenting on it. And that might have been one of the most difficult. Candace Owens will always be the like the crucible we traverse for this podcast. But this was not nothing. It was a man going for 15 minutes talking about how he is the world's biggest loser. He was like all edge lord atheist, and I found out he was like an occultist, like Chris, like amazing atheist type guy. So, of course, and he just like,
God, that
first of
name.
all, he referred to him exclusively as the air quotes Pope, which is like,
Mhm.
which is
Okay.
actually why I watched the video, because I thought he was going to be one of these insane like Pope Michael truthers or whatever. No, he's just an edgy atheist. Who looks like he hasn't showered since at least the Biden administration. Uh so he's just like going on, and it's like, you don't get to tell us about morality. Do you know how many Protestants you killed? And I'm like, dude, you cannot in the year 2026 be mad that some Catholic dudes murked some Protestants in the 30-year war. Like, what the fuck? Like, he's like, everything he said. It's also very funny that now that I'm thinking about it, he was talking about all the historic wrongs of the Catholic Church. They supported the slave trade. They killed all these Protestants. They slaughtered the pagans. All horrible things that the church has apologized for like 100 years ago. And I don't think he once mentions any of the Vatican banking scandals, anything related to potential complicity in the Holocaust, or anything about the sexual abuse scandal, i.e., the things that the modern church might have had or has had extreme culpability in that are actually morally wrong and upsetting.
It was really bad. It was really bad. We're still recovering from that. Come
It
on.
just, oh my god, like
The
and I think
trauma, the trauma.
I think the epitome of just anyone talking about AI in this country has to be Misty. You know him, you love him. He's the greatest of all time, the smartest man, Jesse Lee Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
Editor, this is where I'm going to put in a clip. I still have not decided whether it is just going to be their incredibly dumb conversation or a random thing that he says where he just goes, amazing,
And he loves that phrase. Amazing. He
amazing.
loves that. We love
Uh,
Jesse.
which also,
Jesse, come on our
yeah,
show. Come on, Jesse Lee.
honestly, I think if we just get one super controversial post, like if we go viral on something, unfortunately, I think it has to be Twitter. I don't think getting canceled on Blue Sky is going to do it. He will have us on. Um, uh,
Jesse Lee, try to convert me.
it's
I dare
We
you.
were briefly talking about this before about our love of Jesse Lee Peterson, in an ironic way. Um, and I said with him and maybe the Republicans do more for the downtrodden because they have a make work job program for adults.
Redacted.
Editor, maybe cut that one. I'm gonna leave that note in
You
just in
might want to
case.
cut that. It might be ableist.
Oh
Actually, it
well,
is ableist.
if we're already in the canceled thing, that I will not. I will say R worded, but man, are super R worded. Dark woke, baby. Dark woke.
Take it back. Take it back.
We
Jesse
should just
Lee.
have a beep and just say dark woke baby, dark woke baby.
Yeah. And see what people think we said.
Yeah, shout it in the comments. What horrible thing did I say? You never know.
Tune in next time on American Dreamland.
Well, folks, we got canceled real hard. But yes, I will also say this: if you're familiar with Jesse Lee Peterson, you probably knowing the people who probably listen to our show, or at least the people who host the show, you're most likely to know about Jesse Lee Peterson for one of two reasons. One is the interview he did with Adam Friedland, where Adam Friedland just really started talking honestly and earnestly, and Jesse Lee Peterson was so incredibly confused. Or for that time, he accidentally retweeted and liked a bunch of gay porn and OnlyFans on Twitter.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. That was hilarious. I love that for him, honestly.
Here's the thing, though.
What a fun
I
time
gotta
for
say,
him.
listen. Here's what I
Happy
will
Pride,
say.
everybody.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride, Jesse Lee Peterson. Happy Pride.
Proud to sin. Definitely cutting out that. Pride's a sin, as he would say. I don't mind the joke. It's the incredibly problematic voice I used.
Mm-hmm.
No, but here's the thing. There is the famous thing of that time Alex Jones got caught having, I forget if it was just trans porn or trans hentai. But it was clearly trans pornography. And his response was like, trolls are always sending me porn. It's a trick. It's a setup. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I don't think Jesse Lee Peterson has ever commented on him accidentally tweeting out gay porn. Uh, Also, shout out Ted Cruz, whose quote unquote staffer posted stepmommy cuckween porn on September 11th.
I love that.
I think the only person I believe dumb enough where if they got caught being horny on Maine and said, it was an accident, I would 100% believe him. He could have given the Joy Reid excuse of, I said that homophobic thing on my blog in 2003. Actually, no, I didn't. Russian hackers went back and put it in to make me look bad. If Jesse Lee Peterson said that, I'd be like, I think he's dumb enough to let it happen. I don't know how, but I don't think he's smart enough to lie.
Yeah, I don't think he is, to be honest.
No, but it was great. It was the three dumbest guys just talking about it, and including a scene where one of the producers is asked a question and he's like, yeah, I guess it brings up some ideas. And then he's like, what ideas does it bring up? And he's like, I don't know. What? And he's like, I asked you what ideas it brought up. He's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. This is the producer of the program who regularly chimes in and has conversations. And he's like, I guess it was just too woke or whatever for me to listen to. Which, okay, but It's the dumbest guy you know. And then Jesse Lee Peterson just gets confused and he's like, oh, Trump doesn't like him. Great White Hope said he was weak on crime. It's like amazing. and and then it is just like and then it is just like, yeah, I mean, AI does some stuff. I was able to look it up, and it's great to just tell people things. Like this one person was trying to tell me that Steve Hilton was racist. And then I showed Grok and how it was a different guy named Steve Hilton. And my first thought was like, wow, Republican candidate for governor Steve Hilton must have said something very racist in the past. Oh, also, I remember the other reason I brought up the pagan guy is he was just insulting the Pope, and he's like, "Oh, the Pope's wrong." It's like, it's just such. It speaks such to the idiot. All of this speaks to the idiocy of like people who are like get very vehement pushback about something they care a lot about, and then just like, I am morally righteous and upstanding. It's like Jesse Lee Peterson was like, I don't think women should have the right to vote. And everyone's like, that's incredibly deranged and sexist. And he's like,
Yeah.
black people must be lazy. I'm a truth teller. Actual things he has said.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
one of
Jesse Lee
those
Peterson.
one of those real hardcore thank God for slavery because it took us from Africa type guys.
Yeah.
But
He has been around for a while too. He's been in the zeitgeist for some time.
yeah. Also, Jesse Lee, we will be on your show for whatever topic you want to talk about. But yeah, so he was just doing all this stuff, and it's like, oh, you know, just because technology can be evil doesn't mean it does. It's like, oh yeah, you know who else has that opinion? The fucking Pope. It's what he said. Like
It
we
is
were
what he said.
we were making fun of it earlier of like in Dune, but it's like, oh, it's the Butlerian Jihad. It's like the dude will clearly cite pop culture or like science fiction classics. Like he cited Lord of the Rings. He purposely didn't because he doesn't have that view of AI. That's not at all what he was saying. Like
No. No, it's
also,
he said very
yeah.
clear take that everybody knows that AI is just reflective of the people who make it, which we have said in our past AI episodes. AI is biased by by societal biases. Is AI racist? Yes, because
People are
society is
racist.
racist. People are racist. Is AI misogynistic? Yes, because people are misogynistic, and the information it has is racist and misogynistic. And that's all it is. It's a prediction model.
It
And it's has information. It's fed information that he uses to predict words with that are racist and misogynistic and homophobic and all these other things. Grifting, I guess. They're grifting. I mean, it makes the money. It makes the money to support AI, right? Right. Like right now,
well,
it's
it,
popular. It's then you can get paid, whatever.
it goes beyond the grifting thing because, like, yeah, obviously there's grifting elements, but like we talked about in our Candace Owens episode, is like I think she's I don't know, like she's grifting, but like I don't think much more than like a normal influencer type of thing. Like I think she may not have full faith in her products, but and I don't know how much
I
culpability she feels Erica has, but she legitimately believes Charlie Kirk time traveled and there's some conspiracy. Like
Oh, for
she's
sure. I
deranged.
think she is. I think more like the Jesse Lee Petersons, right? Like those types of
Yeah.
the deeper ones who are like Jesse Lee Peterson's just like in his video about AI that just is titled "I'm Black and Slow, Explain AI to Me." That's his video title.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's that's grifty. Like, come on, Jesse Lee.
it is interesting. Like, I'll go back to like the Glenn Beck like conspiracy of like the deep state is like uh they like apparently there's like this one I had his name somewhere. Uh, I just typed in Jesse Lee Peterson. Oh yeah, there's this bishop called Joseph Strickland, who is like this kind of, mini right wing cause, because he's like does a bunch of like culture war stuff, and has like called Joe Biden evil and stuff, and all of these things, and he got excommunicated. But apparently he also like co-signed an open letter or something that said Pope Francis was a pedophile or covered up pedophilia directly or something. Um, and everyone is like, "Oh, like he was unfairly excommunicated," blah blah blah. And I'm just like, I just reading up about this guy is it's like, yeah, like, I'm sorry, you're all small business tyrants. It's like, would you keep an employee who was like, "Hey, boss, I disagree with this policy, so I'm going to call you a pedophile and diminish everything our institution stands for under your leadership." Like, yeah, of course this dude's going to get fired. And like apparently the political stuff behind the scenes was like, yeah, just resign and just retire and we'll forget this ever happened. And he's like, they want me to resign. Like, he just kept bringing attention to himself. It's like, yeah, of course we're going to fire you for all of this stuff. And of course, it's like, we got to go back to tradition, like this one pope wanted to do. Let's forget about all of the sex crimes he personally covered up. Like, it's weird how
Mhm.
like the evil of the Catholic Church started when it was a dude from South America, um and not what like in the 90s like insane Protestants would say, which is like, no, it's the whore of Babylon and every pope is evil. Like, do that. I don't know how to react to this like extreme Protestantism, but also we got to respect Catholicism. Like, it's insane. And it's just so desperate and dumb, and reactive for all of this. And like, again, it's like they're focusing on like, well, we're racist pedophiles. That's why it's what we're going to focus on. I mean, I think the perfect example is like people are still talking about fucking Hunter Biden. Obviously, like we're research, the thing. So like I've been listening to like a lot of it, and it is just like their main complaint is like, look at how this guy who's clearly an idiot and mentally dumb and um is like has a fail son who's like absolutely like corrupt and an idiot and just like totally ruined the country and like made his party look like a bunch of idiots. Yep, that's why Joe Biden's evil. Yeah,
Yeah,
guy
and I
guy in the guy in the back. Yeah, hi. Can't we respond to, I don't know, as a conservative, Joe Biden is obviously, we're radically against him on the issue of abortion. Maybe we should tie in his hypocrisy. No, we don't want to bring up hypocrisy. Okay, well, what about all of the, we're the new working party, so why don't we write all of the terrible credit card bills he wrote as, nope, not going to talk about that. Oh, well, he was against ending segregation in schools. No, actually, that's the base of our party supports that. So we can't attack him on that because we actually like him for that. Oh, what about his support of the Iraq War? Like, you're an anti-war party now. He's a warmonger. No, we need to push that through too. We just need to cover up for our own failures and not actually attack him on his actual beliefs because he is mostly where we are.
Mm. Mhm.
But yeah, it's like I I mean, okay, like maybe I'll just leave out the, but it's just like it is absolutely projection of like their own failures or things. The family court guy, classic example of that. The divorce guy, every every fucking conservative guy who gets a divorce is like Tommy Wiseau writing The Room. If it's like, no, I was too good for her. Um, and And then just, um, you know, Jordan Peterson, you know what kids need to stop doing? Doing drugs and being in touch with their emotion and not cleaning their room versus the
Yeah.
messiest motherfucker who got addicted to benzos in his like late 40s because he was sad his wife was dying. Like, wow.
Yeah, and then doing some weird all carnivore diet and then almost
Oh,
dying overseas and who the
well,
fuck
remember
knows?
remember for Jordan Peterson, part of wokeness was dudes letting into like feminine wiles, which leads them to disastrous, unsound, illogical ideas. That was what he kept harping on. The Chaos Dragons. Anyway, let's look up what Michaela Peterson is like vis-a-vis what she believes in and how she's treated her father since she's become his primary caretaker. I'm sure it's been totally normal and healthy and hasn't created exponentially more issues in his life.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great. Well, I think though that kind of wraps up our episode.
I think if we're not focusing on it whenever we are talking about Jordan Peters. Oh, also I've now unfortunately realized we all know one of Jordan Peterson's kinks, which I think we all knew, but sad we have to remember it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So remember, folks, listen to the Pope. AI lacks morality. It has the values. So don't use it to cheat on a paper. Don't use it
Right.
to abide a genocide in the Middle East. And in the words of the probably late Jordan Peterson, don't let the AI machine tell you it can milk your dick in a Chinese factory because of
Mm.
communism.
Mm-mm-mm. And don't send your health data to some guy's random AI algorithm, even if he promises you he can get you a diagnosis.
All helpful
American
words to live by.
from American Dreamland. I'm Misty Stone.
I'm Max Chavez.